All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co-host Jake Ellenbogen. And guys, we are going to be doing another LA Rams 2024 mock draft for you today. So if you guys listened to the last episode, Jake and I composed an NFL mock draft using PFF's draft simulator. And what we basically did, a brief synopsis, is we took turns making each pick. So I made the first pick, Jake made the second. We threw some trades in there, but we still alternated who was picking each time. And we basically put together the best mock draft that we could based off what the simulator did. So we're going to do that same thing today. However, for our YouTube viewers, you may notice that we have it on the screen for you. Last time, you weren't able to see it, and a lot of you said in the comments that you wished you were able to see the simulator working in real time so you could see who was there, even though Jake graciously did read out the pool each time. It definitely is easier, I think, if you're watching us to see it on the screen. So thankfully he was able to figure out a cool way to do that. And yeah, so maybe it'll feel more interactive for you guys this way. And we're going to do something different than we did the first mock draft. Kind of as we hinted to the last episode, we wanted to give you guys a different option this time. So we're not going to do the same thing we did. We're going to try to switch it up, do a completely different scenario that the Rams could take this NFL draft. And hopefully, if you didn't like the first mock draft, you like this one better. And if you liked the first mock draft, hopefully you like this scenario as well. But Jake, did I do a pretty good synopsis there? I mean, pretty straightforward now that we have it on the screen.
Pretty straightforward. I definitely don't have any complaints with how you worded that.
Well,
Is what I would say.
what I will say is that uh, we will, and probably Jake more than I, because as I told Jake before the episode, I don't have my glasses right now, for those of you who can see me. And I was like, I'm not able to read anything that's going on the simulator. So what we will still narrate what we're doing and what's going on for the people listening on audio. So if you are listening on audio and you aren't watching us on YouTube, we will make sure to still narrate what's going on so you're not left out. But for our visual audience, you've got it in front of you. So hopefully that makes it more fun and easy to follow along for you. But Jake, last mock draft, I picked first. So that means you get to go first today. Pick is yours.
You did. And for those of you who don't remember, Alexis traded up to get Jared Verse, which
Correct.
got the Rams a new edge defender. And then I double dipped. I bought a first round pick with 2025's first rounder, and I acquired Chop Robinson. So,
Do
yeah.
you want to really quickly before we do this, should we read off our last mock draft?
Do you have it in front of you?
I don't. I can get it really quickly, but maybe we should do that to refresh people's memory.
We definitely can. I was looking for it and I'm having a hard time finding it. So
I have it somewhere. Hold on. Let me pull it up on my phone. Just because we said that we were going to do a different situation,
Mhm.
but I can't say that and then not provide context for what we did last time. But as Jake mentioned, yes, we took 2 edge rushers in the first round. So here's what we did, guys, the last mock draft, real quick before we get this one started. So I traded up to pick 14 to take Jared Verse. Jake traded back into the first round, 28th overall with the Bills. He traded our 2025 first and Tutu Atwell to pick Chop Robinson. We took Xavier Worthy in the second. We took defensive lineman Mekai Wingo in the third round. We traded back out of the third round into the fourth round, where we took Kalen Carson, corner out of Wake Forest. Then we took Braylon Allen, halfback out of Wisconsin. Then we took, and just to save time, I'll read these picks. 5th through 7th, we took Javon Foster, Dwight McLeathern, Malik Mustafa, Tanner Bortolini, Tyron Hopper, Jalen Ford, Brandon Coleman, Joshua Carty, and Josh Proctor. So those are all the prospects that we took last time. Jake, I think we did a pretty good job last time
Oh, I did too.
diversifying the positions. I mean, we did a little bit of everything. But yeah, we'll try and take them in a different order this time and try to do a different method. But spoiler, we're not going to take 2 edge rushers in the first round this time. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right. Well, we'll start here. We'll see what the Bears do. Might throw off our entire draft. Okay, it didn't yet.
Shocker.
Washington didn't. Okay, it's going how I would expect. Still going how I would expect.
Every pick that I
still. Oh.
Ooh, that one hurts. Not like hurts.
Oh, that one hurts too. That one stings.
What does Chicago do at 9? Oh.
They took Quinion Mitchell. All right, this is tough. I mean, I'll resume. Let's see what they do.
So the Jets take.
Okay,
Fuaga.
They took Fuaga. So I do think one thing that PFF needs to get better at is letting us see the board, because you kind of have to know off the top of your head. So, okay, so far in this scenario here, you know, I'm looking, I was really eyeing these 2 guys in Fashanu.
Rome.
Those are the 3 players that I think the Rams would trade up for. Like trade all the way up for, you know what I mean? Now we're at pick 11 here. It's not going to cost as much.
So you basically at left tackle, you have Fashanu left because the 2 other tackles that you were interested in are gone.
And so I'm just worried that, like, I don't think they have a good tackle room. You know, they got Brian O'Neill and they got the guy at left tackle who's an absolute stud, who's Darisaw. So I can't expect them to take him.
The Vikings,
and Denver,
is who we're talking about.
Yeah, the Vikings. Yeah. So the Broncos, like, this is where I got to be careful here.
Because I think the Broncos are going to take.
Okay. Now the Broncos, there's no need put in here for a tackle. They took JJ McCarthy, who a lot of people have mocked way up there. We'll see what ends up happening. The Broncos, I think, are going to take Arnold. Okay, Dallas Turner. I can stretch this out here because, I mean, it's going to be tough. I think the Saints could take Fashanu. The Seahawks will. I think the Bengals could. Hell, I think the Jaguars could. And I mean, the Colts probably not, but like at this point in time, I'm thinking I might trade up here because.
So with the Raiders. So
yes, because I think the 13. Raiders could take him, but I think they'd be willing to listen to this offer. So a 13, so trade up by 6 spots. And really what we're going to do here is we're going to pick swap and see if this works. And that did not. Okay. Let's see if we can give them next year's 2nd.
Okay.
I like that. Next year's 2nd. Because that way you still have your 1st round pick. We didn't give up that in this scenario. It does give you ammunition if you wanted to go up there and get somebody like I did last draft, Alexis. But giving up the 2nd rounder keeps our draft intact here. We're able to go out and get a franchise left tackle. And by the way, this is the same pick for different reasons, obviously, why he fell that far. Laramie Tunsil was selected. So kind of goes to show you can find a franchise left tackle at this pick. And that's what I believe we're going to do. So as long as they don't decline this, yeah. And I mean, why wouldn't you? You get a 2nd rounder next year to move down 6 spots.
Right. So we, in this scenario, have just traded up to pick 13 with the Las Vegas Raiders, and all we had to give up was a 2025 2nd.
Yeah. I think when you look at Fashanu, this is somebody who, I mean, and I love Alec Jackson and all. He can start day 1. This is a guy that started at left tackle. The problem, what you'll find with a lot of these tackles in this draft, Alexis, is if you're looking for a left tackle, a blindside protector, unless you have a left-hand quarterback, then your right tackle is more important. But the Rams have Matthew Stafford, who is a right-handed quarterback. So if you're looking for a left-handed tackle, or a left tackle, there's only 2 that I would take that I know can play left tackle in the NFL because they played left tackle in college. And I've heard before moving from right tackle to left tackle is a way harder thing to do than giving credit for. So Fashanu and Alt are the only two that I think are genuine left tackles in the first round. Maybe you could say Fatanu did play left tackle. You could say Fatanu. With that said, I think Fashanu makes too much sense. I mean, incredibly high ceiling, really good in pass pro. He has this reactive quickness I'm always looking at on tape because you're going to hit with a lot of stunts. You're going to hit with a lot of stutters. And he does a nice job of quickly just moving himself in the right direction, preparing in case a guy's willing to make that move. So he's always ready. The foot speed is there. Big, issue with him that a lot of people would say is he's not the best run defend or a run blocker. But in my opinion, I think he's good enough right now, and I think he's going to be much better. So I love the Rams' offensive line coaching staff right now. I think Fashanu right here is the right pick. You have your left tackle of the future. You have your left tackle for the here and now. And now you figure out what you're going to do with Alec Jackson, but it's hard not to pick. When Alec Jackson's on a one-year deal and so is Noteboom, it's hard not to get your guy.
Yeah, I like that pick. And yeah, we'll continue this first round. I've already made up my mind, so I'm making the next pick. I'm not making another first round pick. We did that the last mock we did, so I'll stay in second.
I'll speed it up. Do you want to trade up at all in the second?
Let's pause it after the first and just see how it shook out, and then we'll see who is left in the simulator.
Well, it doesn't really show us, remember?
Oh, you can't go back and look at...
I mean, you can see the guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to look at real quick, and that's why I'm like staring so close to my computer, guys, as I'm just... I can't see.
So Latu went after the Rams pick. Cooper DeJean, Jared Verse, Terrion Arnold, Troy Fatanu, Jerzon Newton, Byron Murphy, J.C. Latham, Nate Wiggins, Amarius Mims, Graham Barton, Brian Thomas, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jackson Powers Johnson, Tyler Guyton, Adonai Mitchell, Peyton Wilson, Tyler Newbin, and Lad McConkey. So,
all right, let's start it in the second. I think I'm leaning towards staying where we're at.
Okay. So,
Sandra still, that hurts that he already went.
I know, and Chop didn't go in the first round. What?
Well, like we said last draft, these simulators are not always...
Yeah, that's true.
They're good, but they're not... Okay, so we've stayed at our pick at pick 52.
This feels consistent with like every mock draft I ever see. It's like at 52, this is what I normally see. So, okay. What filter would you like? I know they need an edge. I think they want a wide receiver. It's up to really you, though. What positions would you be looking at here?
Well, remember last mock, I did take a receiver. I'm not saying we have to do the opposite of everything we did. So I'm open to taking receiver again, but let's add in receiver. Let's do corner. Let's do edge as my top 3. And then if there's nothing there, I'll look.
So you got Jonah Ellis, who I think is a perfect fit. Love him. Keon Coleman adds a big body receiver on the outside. I know people are going to hate me because I see a lot of comments. Oh, Marshawn Nealand. I don't think he's a fit. I think he's more of a 4-3 end. Jalen Polk. You get Jalen McMillan at Washington. Xavier Legette. Kyrie Jackson. Xavier Worthy. I think now you're kind of getting into like third round territory over here.
Yeah. The Jonah Ellis feels to me like who I like the most out of all of these guys. And I'll be honest, I do like him a lot. This does feel slightly early, but I'm trying to think if I'm the Rams and I'm at this pick and this is who's left according to the simulator. In my opinion, it's basically Jonah Ellis and then all of these receivers. So I think I'm inclined. It might be a slight reach-ish, but I really like Jonah Ellis here.
I do too.
Yeah, based on positional fit and just the prospect, best player available. And And again, I think edge, I mean, we doubled up on edge, right? The last mock draft that we did, I think edge is
Yeah.
a very important position for this team. For anybody who listened to Aaron Donald's interview on Chris Long's podcast, I don't know if you've heard that yet, Jake, but I listened to it. And what did he say? This was the one position where he's like, I think that they're in good shape, but they need an edge rusher. They need a consistent guy to help pressure the quarterback. So I like Jonah. Like I said, a little raw. This might be slightly higher than like I would take him normally, but just based on how everyone else who's gone, I kind of like it. I mean, what do you think, Jake?
Oh, I love the pick. It's exactly the one that I would make. If the Rams, let's put it this way, if the Rams didn't move their first round pick in 2025 and haven't touched the draft at this point in giving away any picks, and they have come away with Fashanu and Ellis, they're in really good shape. I think Ellis is exactly the type of guy they go for, high motor, high football IQ, a leader, a guy with bloodline. His brother, Caden Ellis, has turned into quite the linebacker in the league, currently playing for Raheem Morris's Falcons.
Yep.
When you look at Jonah Ellis, he's got everything you want in a pass rusher. The arsenal is there. The plan is there. He mixes up his approach. And that's what you like to see. He's not going to just hit you with, a swim move every single time. He's not going to just try to bend around the outside, although he can do that. He'll hit you on either side, an inside or an outside spin move. He's gotten really good at the inside spin move. And then I think you just look at the athleticism. And, I got to give a shout out to Blaine Grisack of Turf Show Times. He does this thing, Alexis, I don't know if you saw it. It's called Sneed Snacks. He's been doing it for years. And basically he takes all of the players and the archetypes that the Rams have looked at in the past and basically tries to figure out who the next pick is going to be or who makes the most sense. And Ellis was on the honorable mention list, and he wanted to put him in this top 5. The reason why is because big thing here, right? People are going to say, well, Ellis is 6'2". See it right there, right? Does not matter. The Rams historically do not care about the size. They do not care. They care about explosive. They want you to be explosive athlete. They want you to be, a workhorse. And that's somebody that Jonah Ellis represents. In addition to that, he just turned 21, Alexis. This guy's perfect for their room. So I love it. And
we know that they like guys out of Utah as well. They have a good relationship with that program. So Jonah Ellis, I like it. So for those of you who can see the simulator going, second round is now coming to an end. Jake is making the next pick.
Yeah, it's like part of me wants to trade up, but I like where we are right now. So because we got edge, we got tackle.
So we're on the clock now at 83.
All right. So this is a little interesting. I think in this position here, I would go wide receiver. Look at the running backs. We got tackle. So corner, interior D-line, safety, and linebacker. So based on that, I would probably not go Blake Corum. I think he's too similar to Kyron Williams. Like, I think if you're going to go out and get somebody, in this draft at running back, you're going to get somebody that has more blazing speed or somebody that's bigger than Kyron Williams, not somebody who's kind of the same. So I think they have similar skill set there. After that, I like Trey Benson a lot. Would be kind of like a best player available pick here. Malachi Corley would be kind of cool, kind of gadget guy. I don't love that pick though. And to be honest with you, I don't truly love what is available here in general. Because I feel like you kind of just missed the boat on this. That's why I probably should have traded up earlier, and I'll show it right now. I probably end up trading up and getting Javon Baker. So since that didn't come to pass, I'm thinking I'm actually going to go with Trey Benson, and here's why. I know, another Florida State running back.
I was just about to say.
Trey Benson is outstanding in the gap. So when you're talking about the fact that they run predominantly gap runs now instead of zone runs like they used to, he's going to be great. This is somebody who, in my opinion, has the blazing speed that the Rams are lacking. Kyren Williams is not slow, but Kyren Williams is not blazing fast. You look at a guy who, could run that 4.3, 4.4, and it's on tape. I mean, you see it, the home run hitting ability. He's 6'1", 223. He's really a rare type of athlete. When you look at his issues and why he's going in the third round here, it's really, he doesn't offer all of the more like the nuanced things that a guy like Kyren Williams brings to the table. He's going to come in and he's going to be your home run hitter, right? You talk about it's baseball season right now. You have your home runner strikeout. That's kind of what you're getting more or less with Benson. And I know some people might say, well, hey, this sounds like Cam Akers. It's not. I don't think his vision is amazing, but I don't think it's bad. And I think he's much faster than Akers was. So I think when you look at him in pass pro, he's going to hold up, which is a big, important thing to stay on the field because the Rams are going to throw the ball a lot. They're going to be in 11 personnel a lot. We have to know that, hey, you can you can protect the quarterback when he's throwing the ball. He is not by any stretch the best running back prospect I've ever seen, but he should. And honestly, if the running back class wasn't getting so dismissed, I think he'd probably go in the second round and have a shot to go in the first at the end. The fact of the matter is that the running backs this year are not being respected for whatever reason. I don't think it's the best running back class, but I feel like everybody as a whole is being kind of undervalued. So based on what we have here, I'm inclined to go with Trey Benson. I would really consider Brendan Rice, and the reason being not just because he's Jerry Rice's son, but he's one of the best route runners in this draft, and I think he would definitely help. I do think, though, in my honest opinion here, wide receiver would probably be a more desired need than a running back. But in the third round, getting a track star that can come off the bench after Kyren Williams runs a bunch of times and, mows down this defense because he's breaking tackles and he's being a pain. You bring in Benson who can block and, take it to the house. That's going to really help the offense. And this team is focused on the offense this year. So I'm going to draft Trey Benson here.
I like the pick. I think Trey Benson complements Kyren a lot better than a lot of Rams fans give him credit for, because I know a lot of Rams fans are like, Benson isn't the type of running back you want to complement with Kyren. And I agree to an extent. I think if I was going to pair a running back with Kyren, I'm more inclined to go with like a Braylon Allen, right? Like we did the last
that
draft.
would be my,
But
that would be my second option.
I think that the athleticism that Benson offers and the fact that he would have time to develop behind Kyren and he does have that explosive speed is a benefit to our running back room. So I don't think it's a bad pick by any means.
Yeah, no, I think right now we're off to a good start. We got a tackle who's a franchise tackle. We get an edge who could be a franchise edge. I mean, there are some issues in his, run defensive game. I think he's going to work on. I think he's going to get much better at setting the edge. And then you get a running back who, if all else fails, with Kyren Williams bringing him back on a contract extension, you have a guy that has at least the capabilities where if, he's willing to be coached up, I mean, he could be one of the better running backs in the league. He's got the tools. But here now at pick 99, there's some options here. What positions are you looking at this point?
So I am looking at corner, I think would be my top position, wide receiver. And guys, this is pick 99, by the way, at the end of the third round.
Yep.
And let's do linebacker. Let's just see those top threes. Okay, interesting. So the top prospects here, guys, for those listening, you've got linebacker Maurice Liafu out of Notre Dame, wide receiver Jacob Cowing out of Arizona, cornerback DJ James out of Auburn, linebacker Tommy Eichenberg out of Ohio State, and Chris Abrams-Drain, the corner out of Missouri.
Yeah, there are definitely some interesting options here, Alexis. I mean, what are you said corner is a position you're really looking at.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is you're getting into this realm where there are a bunch of slot corners. So you're not getting,
I don't love
super versatility or anything like that. Not all of them.
I don't love the fit out of any of those corners available right there, personally, for what the Rams need right now. So I'm not super inclined here to go corner.
Mm-hmm.
I like both of the linebacker choices. If we want to go linebacker this early, which we certainly could.
Yeah, it seems like those are the only two that you would even draft at this point.
I'm almost inclined to trade back. What are the trade back options? I don't want to trade back a ton, but I'd be willing at this point to trade back, honestly, like 10 to 15 picks.
Okay. Yeah, so trade back here. You said 10 to 15, so I mean, you could go back to 109 here with the Falcons, that'd be kind of funny, giving the Raheem Morris pick to the Falcons.
Does it show that options are? I don't see it on the simulator.
Oh, so okay, 109 and 99, they give you 143.
Let's try that.
Okay. Trade accepted. So the Falcons with the Raheem Morris pick, get to use that pick. And they got Michael Hall Jr., who I know a lot of Rams fans like, so they're probably upset, but is what it is. Okay. 109 puts you in an interesting spot here. Let's see.
So let's do those same positions.
So Maris Lufau is off the board. He got selected. Did you do interior defense line or?
I didn't, but you can leave it up there. I wasn't thinking about it, but
so these are the best options left based on your criteria. Eichenberg from Ohio State, more of like an old school thumping linebacker, doesn't have like the sideline to sideline speed. Chris Abrams-Drain is more of like a slot corner.
Yeah.
Brownlee is a guy that the Rams met with at his pro day.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Hart could play cornerback safety, like any Michigan or any Notre Dame defensive back. It seems like.
I'm gonna stop you because I'm gonna go with Cam Hart.
Okay.
Because I like him here. I've had him graded as kind of a 4th round corner, and I like the versatility that, kind of like Jake just alluded to, that he offers in the secondary. And I think that we've added some key pieces to this secondary, but we're kind of missing. Let me rephrase this. I don't want to say missing, but I want some hard hitters back there. I want more Cameron Curls. If we don't bring back Witherspoon, a guy that could play on the outside, versatility there. I'm trying to look at where the simulator is going. Okay, 143.
So this works out well. I'm probably going to go with Mekhi Wingo again. He falls here to pick 143, which you acquired via that trade down. I think when it's all said and done, he could end up being the best interior defensive lineman in this draft, bar none. There are 3 LSU defensive linemen that are going to get selected in this draft. Mason Smith is one of them. I know there's a guy probably way down here, blanking on his name, but Mekhi Wingo, just the athletic profile, is exactly what the Rams are going to look for. You're not going to replace Aaron Donald, but what you could do is, if you want to address the interior defensive line position, get a guy with high upside here. There's no way he's falling in the 5th round. He's probably going to go in the 3rd, but we end up getting him here in the 5th round at 143, and you essentially tackle a need. So you go out, you get him. You have Desjuan Johnson last year. Kobe Turner should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year. You have Bobby Brown III, who's great against the run, but hasn't really been utilized as much in the passing game. And, that was a big thing when we covered the draft in the studio during the draft show. a big thing that they kept saying was they liked his athleticism. He was a crazy athlete, pass rusher, hasn't really been utilized in the pass rushing element. So I look to see that. You have Laurel Murchison as well. So I think adding Mekhi Wingo pretty much locks that area of the defense down.
And you know where we took him in our first mock last week?
99.
You took him at 100.
100. Wait,
So,
100?
Yeah, round 3, 100th overall is when you took him last time. So you got him 43 picks later this draft.
Yeah, worked out in our favor.
So now we have back-to-back picks, guys. We're at pick 154 in the 5th round. Definitely want to look at receivers. Let's look at some safeties as well. Inside linebackers. And yeah, you know what? Throw interior offensive line as well.
Gotcha.
Some depth pieces. All right, so first few prospects that come up as best available is linebacker Michael Barrett out of Michigan, wide receiver Taj Washington out of USC, guard Zach Zinter out of Michigan, linebacker JD Bertrand out of Notre Dame, and safety Bo Braid out of Maryland. You got Isaiah Williams, wide receiver out of Illinois, Malik Mustafa, who we've interviewed, safety out of Wake Forest, center Drake Nugent out of Michigan, safety James Williams out of Miami. I like all of those prospects, Jake, actually.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot for sure. And especially you look at a guy like Anthony Gold. I'm not saying you'll take him, but this is, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, no, this is the guy. I'm not saying the Rams would draft him, but he's going to have increased value with the new rules, the return rules. He was one of the best returners in the country. So you get into this area where you're like, okay, 5th round, you got 3 5th-round picks right now. Obviously there's some guys that'll go later, but yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. You said you like a lot of these guys though.
I do. I like both of those linebackers. I like Michael Barrett out of Michigan. I like JD Bertrand out of Notre Dame. I might steer a little clear out of Bertrand because I'm of the injury thing.
Yeah.
In the 5th, not that I don't think he's talented enough to go there, but I think if I'm looking at these linebackers, I'll be honest, I've not seen as much on Michael Barrett as I want to, so I can't give analysis on him. Zach Zinter, I like a lot. That Michigan offensive line was really good, I feel like, this past season. I mean, anyone who watches the draft, I mean, you're going to see 4 to 5 Michigan offensive linemen get drafted.
He's got great size for the position.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pass on Zach Zinter there. Again, I know that we have Jonah Jackson and we have Kevin Dotson, but you got to have depth in this league. And, the Rams are in a position where I really want them to have a lot of offensive lineman depth. Taj Washington, interesting prospect here. Not sure that
I like his contested catch rate a lot. I think really the issue with him is going to be that weight. And currently, if you're willing to, at this point, pretty much just kick Tutu out of the curb, which seems like this is what the Rams have kind of done, then I don't know if I see them going with that type of body composition again.
Yeah, I'm not super interested in him, if I'm being honest. I think he's a good prospect, but not for what I'm trying to do right now. Malik Mustafa, the only thing that would prevent me from taking him here is we promised to switch up what we did last draft, and that's what we did. So,
well, I mean, I got Wingo, but
you know what I kind of like? I like the other Michigan offensive lineman here, I think.
You like Zach Zinter?
Well, I do like Zach Zinter, but I'm also intrigued by Drake Nugent, because the idea of taking a center here behind Avila, it might be a little early.
Well, I think whoever they take is going to have flexibility to play. So, I mean, like Zinter would probably be the backup center. They'd probably cross-train him. You know what I'm saying? So if you think he's the better prospect, I would probably just go with who you think is the better prospect, if that's how you're deciding.
Then let's take Zinter. I think Zinter's the better prospect. I mean, I do like both of them. And then I also like Trevor Keegan, another Michigan.
Okay.
Like I said, there's like 5 Michigan offensive linemen. I don't know who they're going to have left that's going this draft. So I'm taking, guys, I took Zach Zinter, the guard out of Michigan. I took him because I think, like I said, we have Jonah Jackson, we have Kevin Dotson, but we need depth. And I think with what the Rams are trying to do, it could really derail them if one of those guys goes down and they don't have a competent guard to step in. I think Zach Zinter could step in, if I'm being honest. I don't think that he's going to be drafted as a starter per se, but I think that he has the ability to adapt quickly to the NFL. A lot of experience playing at Michigan against really good defenses. Obviously, did a very good job for JJ McCarthy last season. So I like it. I think you're getting a good pick here. Jake is now on the clock with literally the next pick because we had back-to-back picks.
Yes, I'm actually going to go ahead and take Luke McCaffrey out of Rice. I just think that he's the type of guy that you're looking for, a guy that can make plays after the catch, good contested catch rate. Obviously, another bloodline there with Christian McCaffrey being his brother and his dad, of course, being in the NFL. Like, I feel like at this point, there's probably going to be some fans that got their hopes up for wide receiver if this is how it goes down and this is what they see. I see a lot of people wanting Taj Washington in this scenario. I get that. And honestly, I like Taj Washington, but I do have concerns if the Rams, again, I don't care about the size. I don't. It does not concern me. I think he plays better than you would expect a smaller wide receiver to play. But when it comes to the Rams and the way, like, it went from, wow, we believe in Atwell to then, Demarcus Robinson, who was a bigger bodied receiver, took over, right? I kind of feel like that's telling us something. And I feel like Luke McCaffrey makes a lot of sense here for the Rams because he could also have, I think he has the capabilities to be a return guy as well for them. So I'm going to go with Luke McCaffrey here. There's only 2 guys. I've been saying it over and over again. Wide receiver, there's only 2 guys under contract next year, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. So I'm going to take Luke McCaffrey.
I like it. I like Luke a lot. And I think it would be fun to see him go against his brother twice a year. Same division.
I think I came close to picking Theo Johnson. I didn't pick Dwight McLaughlin because we're trying to keep it fresh. I already picked Mekhi Wingo. But yeah, I like Luke McCaffrey as kind of that day 3 guy. And I mean, the last time the Rams drafted a wide receiver, it worked out pretty well in the 5th round. So not saying Luke McCaffrey is going to be Puka Nacua 2.0, but it's not like they've never had success drafting wide receivers in the 5th.
So I'm up with pick 196 in the 6th round.
You got some interesting guys here. Like, I like Kamani Vidal a lot. I like Brennan Jackson.
So let me read off. I'll read off like the top for those listening. The best available right now. You got running back Kamani Vidal out of Troy, running back Cody Schrader out of Mizzou, defensive lineman Marcus Harris out of Auburn, edge Brennan Jackson out of Washington State. I never pronounced this guy's last name right. Is it Norzad?
I think it's Norzad.
Yeah, Hunter Norzad, the center out of Penn State, and then Steele Chambers, linebacker out of Ohio State, who was on our show. So Nathan Thomas, tackle out of Louisiana Lafayette.
Which, by the way, Kevin Dotson is from Louisiana Lafayette.
I know. Interesting. I like that. I know we took a tackle already. We took a guard. That's the only reason I think I'm steering a little bit clear of offensive line. If you go back to the very top of the list, Brennan Jackson is interesting to me here. I know we took an edge already in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
But I think this, the edge position, we've been very thin, on the Rams. Brennan Jackson is a really good prospect. I think he's underrated. I think he's certainly talented to go higher than the 6th round. I've seen his name floating around a lot more. I don't know if you've noticed this, Jake, recently.
Yeah, I have.
And yeah, so a guy that I think a lot of people are starting to pay attention to. I think I'm taking Brennan Jackson.
I like it. I think at this point, Alexis, also notice we're not picking, for positions. This is like best player available. who has traits, who can you develop at this point? And
Right.
yeah, I agree with you. I'd probably
And
go with him as well.
I think he's the best player available. I think with Brennan Jackson, he is a very high motor. We've called him the Energizer Bunny, not just on the field, but his personality. When you talk to him, if you go watch that interview, he's the type of talent that I think is very moldable. And I think is someone who the Rams could develop over time and he could step in right away. So I think it's kind of a luxury pick in a way. I mean, best player available, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. It's funny. Last time I took Jalen Ford, and
Mm-hmm.
we took Tanner Bortolini, so I'm trying to like mix it up here. Oh
So
man,
this is pick 209 in the 6th round that Jake has.
and we took Brandon Coleman. It's
Yeah.
funny. Got to pick somebody
It's
different here.
falling. And again, it's the same simulator, so it's going to be the same prospects around the same spot. So we just got to kind of get creative. Let's think of positions we haven't hit yet, Jake. I mean,
Let's
we
see
haven't.
the analysis. It seems like what their second round 6 selection. Okay, Rams fans pick tight end 100% of the time at 209. That is bizarre.
Who's even? I didn't even
Oh,
see.
okay, I get that. I like him a
Okay,
lot. But did we pick him last time? I feel like we did.
let me pull it up. I don't think we did. I think you picked somebody else, but I think we talked about taking Tanner McLaughlin, the
I like him a lot because he
McLaughlin.
catches everything. He's got, good size, good movement skills. He's somebody that I could definitely see the Rams coveting.
We didn't take him.
We didn't take him, so I
We
think
didn't even take a tight end last time.
I'm going to take Tanner McLaughlin because look, think about this. The Rams can take him and also save about $1 million. I think it's $1.2 million if they cut Hunter Long. I would just rather do that. It's nothing against Hunter Long, but it's a business decision. They've cut players we like way more and who contributed more to save way more. So look, I'm going to say the Rams end up cutting Hunter Long. I think they do draft a tight end. Could be Dalen Holker, who he passed up on. Could be Theo Johnson. Really good, measurables there. But I'm going to go with Tanner McLaughlin because I like his tape out of Arizona. He's somebody that stood out to me.
And we took a tight end. I didn't even realize we just didn't. We straight up did not take a tight end the last mock we did.
Oh,
Which
I
is
have to remind you so we don't get hated on right
oh
here.
right. Yeah, so we're at pick 213 in the 6th round for those of you who can't see the screen.
Yep, we got 3
Jake
picks.
Jake was reminding me that we need to take a kicker. So that is a possibility. At 213, well, we pick in 4 picks. I don't know that I'm going to go for kicker yet. Let's see who's here. I'm interested in taking another corner or safety, honestly. We've only taken one secondary player. I like Miles Harden out of South Dakota, actually. I kind of feel like this is the spot he would go.
Yeah, he's intriguing.
I mean, he doesn't have like the best numbers, so I see why some people are like not, and he played for South Dakota. But again, we're picking in the end of the 6th round. You can take these types of guys who are like kind of a project, for lack of a better term. Who was available like safety?
Yeah, I'm thinking like I don't know, Miles Harden being at like he's hovering around 6 feet, 200. That's good size. He's an outstanding tackler. This would be a special teams pick. Maybe develop him into a contributor on the defense, but that's something to keep in mind. Safety, you have Omar Brown here.
Not really familiar with him, sadly.
Um, After that,
Then yeah, there's not
Trey
much there.
Taylor from Air Force. I mean, you have to be good coming out of Air Force to
Well,
be
right.
selected. So,
I
there's
was
that.
looking at his number. So I honestly have not watched his tape, so I don't want to say that
Dominic
I have.
Hampton.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not super like psyched about any of those. The farther you're going, none of these guys I would take here. I don't there's no point in trading back, I think, at this point. because there's no one left. I mean, Tanner Bortolini's interesting. This would be a great pick here, but we took him in the last.
Yeah, we're trying to mix it up. But I mean, hey,
Yeah,
I took one guy.
Wingo.
You could take one guy and then just call it. I don't know.
He is the best, in my opinion, he's the best player available right here. Just scroll down a little bit, please. And thank you. Ooh, Daquan Hardy I like. God, sometimes some of these numbers just like it's so weird. Like you look at how they grade prospects and then in your mind you're like, this does not add up with
Yeah, they have
what
their
I
own particular
watched.
style. They're also looking at
Um,
things differently than we are.
mhm.
So, that's another thing.
So
It's all
this is not going to be the fun pick, but I'm going to take Tanner Bortolini because looking at where we're at right now and what we've already done, I'm taking best player available, and I think he is. And for those of you who missed the first mock we did, Tanner Bortolini can play every position on the offensive line. I think he's most naturally a center. I think that's where he wants to play. So, um, yeah, I think he's just a good tool to have in the arsenal. He can kind of do whatever you ask of him.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to take Miles Harden. Reason being is he seems like somebody the Rams would be interested in based on his special teams abilities. Again, we're talking really good tackler, good size, good athletic profile, 4.5 speed. I think really he's an intelligent corner that could work in zone. My concern and why I don't think that they would take him is that they, typically they use a different, style for grading speed and everything. And we've seen them before. Chris Garrett came out of nowhere. So I want to make this very clear that at this point in the draft, it might not be somebody who's on this list. I'm talking, you go all the way down here, you could go to page 3, and there might not be the Rams pick, you know what I mean? In
Mm-hmm.
the seventh, like you might not even have that as an option. So that is what I'm going to say with that. With that said, I'm still going to go with Miles Harden because to me, this is like a Nick Scott pick. This
Yeah.
is somebody that could be like a special teams ace. And, at best, he ends up helping out the defense. So I like him. And that means there's one more pick, and we'll hurry it up.
Wonder what I'm going to take.
I took the kicker last time, so.
I know. Let's just filter it out. Let's see what kickers are left. Pick
Yep.
254. So I won't take Cardi. That's who we took last time.
Yep. Can't take Cardi B.
You know what? Let's take Mevis. Let's just do it. That's a fun pick. I don't really have a preference on any of those top 3 guys, if I'm being honest. So
they're mad at me because I took Fashanu over Latu. Whatever. I think Fashanu is a blue chip prospect. And I think this is a bad grade because, to be honest with you, if you think that Fashanu is falling to 18th, you're out of your mind.
So let's read this first, and we'll do the grades. Let's just read the picks.
Yep.
For people listening. So recap, guys. We traded up in the first round from pick 19 to pick 13. We traded with the Raiders to take Fashanu, the left tackle out of Penn State. All we had to give up was a 2025 second round pick. Second round, we stayed at pick 52. We took Jonah Ellis, the edge rusher out of Utah. Third round, pick 83, we took Trey Benson, the running back out of Florida State. Fourth round, pick 109, we took corner Cam Hart out of Notre Dame. Then we made a trade in the fourth round. We traded out. I can't see you guys. I'm so sorry.
So
we traded
the
back.
99th pick, the Rams acquire a 109
right.
and
Okay.
143, and you use that 109 to pick Cam Hart.
Right. And then the 143, Jake picked Mekai Wingo, the defensive lineman out of LSU. Then in the 5th round, pick 154, we took Zach Zinter, the guard out of Michigan. The very next pick, 155, we took wide receiver Luke McCaffrey out of Rice. 6th round, pick 196, we took edge rusher Brennan Jackson out of Washington State. Also in the 6th round at pick 209, we took tight end Tanner McLaughlin out of Arizona. Again, in the 6th round, pick 213, we took center Tanner Bortolini out of Wisconsin. And then 4 picks later at pick 217, we took corner Miles Harden out of South Dakota. Very last pick in the draft, guys, round 7, pick 254, we took kicker Harrison Mevis out of Missouri. So, Jake, let's go through these now with the grades on each pick, and we could see if we agree with PFF's analysis. Or we don't. So as Jake mentioned, pick 13, where he traded up for Fashanu, PFF gave a B grade, which we don't agree with. I don't agree with either.
I guess, I mean, I thought, see, here's the thing. It's also going to be based on the Rams' needs, right? Well, the Rams have a positional need at tackle. I think I've seen it before where they have it listed as tackle. So if you think that that is a positional need for the Rams, then how can you give this a B going out and getting the best tackle available at this point in the draft? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it must just be a positional thing. I don't know how their grading algorithm works, but for our 2nd round pick, they gave the Jonah Ellis pick an A minus. So
Smart.
They liked that for us.
I liked it too.
They did not seem to really care for the Trey Benson pick in the 3rd. They gave it a C.
I don't see how.
A little harsh. I think I personally probably would have given it a B. It must have just again been a positional thing because that was where
I know. Yeah, exactly. They have him at 86, so it's like, all right.
Yeah, you took him 3 picks higher. So again, they just had to think for whatever reason the Rams shouldn't take a running back that around that spot. 4th round pick, PFF graded our Cam Hart pick a B minus, which is fair. I mean, I guess we took him a little bit higher. They had him graded 122. We took him 109. So,
yeah,
whatever.
So then
Wingo
got a B plus, but I just don't understand that.
Well, and they gave him, didn't they give it like a D on our last? I'm going to pull it up. They gave it a D when you took him at 100. So they liked it better, probably because you took him. This draft, he's being taken closer to where they have him ranked. So yeah, I'm pulling it up. D minus when you took him at 100.
That's insane.
They gave you a B plus when you took him at 143.
Oh man, Zach Zinter, they gave you a C. I just feel like at this point in the draft that like just giving these bad grades, it just looks silly.
It has to be position-wise because, again, we took Zach Zinter at 154. He's 160 overall. So you're not, like, reaching on him. So it's got to be the algorithm thinking the Rams don't need a guard there. But whatever. We drafted him to be a backup anyways, at this point in the 5th round.
Yeah.
They did not like Jake's pick of Luke McCaffrey. They gave it a D minus, which... Again, it has to be, I think that's probably just where they have him graded because you took him 155, they have him ranked 182.
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly where Luke McCaffrey's going to go, right?
Oh, same here.
Spot. So I don't agree with that grade.
Brennan Jackson. I mean,
plus?
Yeah, I just don't how is that a B plus? How's not like an A? Like I don't know. Like the grades have always been kind of laughable. Personally,
do you think it's a B plus because we took an edge in the 2nd already? So
I don't think the algorithm's that smart. I think it's just picky. It's like me, like when people, and I mean no disrespect when I say this, but I get DM'd all the time mock drafts. Hey, what do you think about this mock draft? It's like I can't really say anything because I am so picky about my mock drafts. You guys, like not everybody, but Alexis, we've had these conversations before. Normal people see 250 players to choose from. Like me, I'm like, I draft probably 50 of them. You know what I mean? Like I am super picky about where and when and who I take. So that's just the way I am. Tanner McLaughlin getting a D plus in round 6. I mean, you're in the 200s. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't seem to like that.
And they just have all the kickers rated low, so that's just on
Well,
them.
when we took Cardi basically around the same spot last draft, they also gave it a C plus. So they just don't like kickers being drafted, I guess. Um, so Tanner Bortolini, they gave us a B minus. Miles Harden, they gave us a B plus. Harrison Mevis, they gave us a C plus, which again, taking kickers in the seventh, that's exactly what we did last time. And yeah, so
Top 93%. I don't know if that's good or not. Like, you know what I mean?
what does that mean though? They're
Like,
saying,
is it backwards? Is it like you're in the bottom of the, like, you know what I mean? Do I want to be in the top 7% or the top 93%?
well,
Are you in the 93rd percentile? I guess that's probably what they're saying. But that doesn't
I,
make any sense because B minus,
I don't know. I don't quite understand.
I don't
Is
know.
a little contradictory, some of this stuff, but
Let's see what's in a grade.
they gave us a B minus, guys,
Player
on
positional
this mock
value,
draft.
team needs, and when players are picked. Okay. Well, I
A
think
little bit of everything.
I'm
So
challenging the call personally. So
they gave us a B minus on this mock draft, guys. They gave us a B minus on our first one. So PF, that's where we stand on PFF. Jake, I'll be honest with you. I don't love this as much as I liked the first one, I don't think. Personally, I didn't like how
hmm.
I would be fine with either one of these drafts. I just think I prefer the first one. I felt like I kept running into, at least for me in this mock draft, I wasn't like super psyched about the player selection each pick that came up. Like the way that it shook out in the simulator to me didn't I didn't like as much as the first one, but there are some of these picks. Like I really like the Luke McCaffrey pick in the fifth, even though they hated it. I like the Brennan Jackson pick. I like the Cam Hart pick too. I That's exactly where I personally have Cam Hart going, is around that spot, and I think he's a great prospect. I love the Jonah Ellis pick. Fashanu again, franchise left tackle in the first. So it's not to say that we didn't have good picks this draft. It was just the way that it shook out was not as ideal for me as the first one. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the first one you're getting a more impactful wide receiver because you got Xavier Worthy, and then this one you get, Luke McCaffrey's the only wide receiver you take.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a downgrade. But I mean, tackle, who do we even get at tackle? We got Javon Foster in the fifth. I like Javon Foster, but if that's you addressing the tackle, then you didn't really address it like, I would want you to. Edge, you had double dipped, so obviously that outdoes Jonah Ellis. But in this sense, I think it's a perfect fit. Jonah Ellis is a perfect time to grab him at 52 overall. You get a better running back in Trey Benson. I mean, I think they're fairly even. I would probably say I like parts of one more than the other on both sides. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
would word it. Very curious to see what, our next draft that we
I
do, where that
know.
will be, because, you give it a week or so, that's more tape to be watched. Like you and I, are exactly on top of every single player.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm behind this year like no other year. So, the guys towards the end, it's like I know a lot of them, but I don't know them the way I've known them in years past. So I got to get
Yeah,
better at that. But yeah,
I
it'll be
agree with me
interesting.
too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
Um,
in our next draft, because
yeah, we'll
that's a
have to
week
shake
of,
it up.
you know, learning.
Yeah, but I think we did a good job of being trying to be different than what we did in the first mock draft. So I think we did a good job there. And yeah, I mean the third one again, we'll do something completely different than the first two. So we're gonna try to get in three, maybe four, but at least three before the NFL draft. So we'll have four very different options, three to four very different options for you guys to view. And who knows, the Rams might just do like a fifth option. We don't know, but we're trying to
Yeah.
just present everything that could happen in the draft. So we've gotten two B minus grades on our PFF mock drafts. Um, could be a lot worse. Again, Jake and I aren't like super. We don't take a lot of stock in these grades. It is interesting to see what they give us, but this is more just for fun looking at the grades. We don't take them very seriously. We'll see what you guys say in the comments, if you agree or disagree with PFF's opinion on this. But I think this is a solid draft. Like I said, I think I preferred our first draft a little more than this one, but I like both of them, and it would be hard to be upset if they did either one of these.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't be upset with either one. I mean, what you hope for in the draft is you're getting quality talent that matches the draft value, and you're hoping that you can find guys that are going to make it harder for your roster to keep draft picks. That's really what it is. End of the game, you know, a lot of these guys that we drafted, I mean, the bottom, you could talk about round 7 and 6. I mean, as good as the Rams drafted last year, you know, you could see them cut some of the guys they drafted last year. You could see them cut some of the guys they drafted this year. That is a sign that you have a really good roster when you start having to cut bottom of the draft players. That's not necessarily them being busts, so to speak. It just means that you don't have enough room on the roster for them. So we'll see. That is definitely a possibility this time around.
yeah. Well, guys, there you have it. You'll have this available to view now. So hopefully it's a little bit more visually appeasing than our last one was, where you guys couldn't see the screen. For those of you watching on YouTube, now you can see the screen and see in real time the pools of players who are available and the choices that we made. And yeah, very cool. Thank you, Jake, for figuring out how to get this on the screen. I certainly wouldn't have been able to. So yeah, guys, we will be back, and we will be doing, again, like we said, we'll be doing at least one more of these, maybe 2, but we are, Jake, close to the draft. I mean, today we're recording this on April 11th. The 25th is the first night, so quite literally we're 2 weeks away. So we might get into, definitely we'll get in one, guys. Let us know in the comments on YouTube, and then tweet us on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, and let us know your thoughts on this, and give us your grade, because again, PFF, we're not rocking with what's going on here. We trust what you guys have to say. So guys, that's going to do it for us for now. As always, please like and subscribe. Again, if you're watching this on Jake's YouTube, please like and subscribe to his channel. You can follow us on social media at Downtown Rams. You can follow me on Twitter at the Alexis Kraft. You can follow Jake at JKBogan. And guys, we will be back next week. But until then, stay safe, take care, and go Rams.
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to Alexis Kraft's channel. She didn't put that out there. I'm putting it out there. Go and subscribe. See you guys next time.